Good afternoon. This is All India Radio and I'm Gunmala Kapoor with the midday news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi rolls out roadmap for welfare of farmers and citizens. Says focus is on doubling farmers' income and a pucca house for every poor person by the 75th year of independence. Jammu and Kashmir Governor Satya Malik directs a resumption of normal functioning of Civil Secretariat and other government offices in Srinagar. Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar announces launch of campaign to make India free of single-use plastic. Hydropower generation and infrastructure of Bhutan high on the agenda during Prime Minister's visit to Thimpu. Vice President Venkaiah Naidu stresses on integrated approach to gap bridge between rural India and urban Bharat, says education system should emphasize on rural life and agriculture. While terming his first regime as an era of fulfillment of needs and the period beyond 2019 as fulfillment of aspirations and dreams of the people, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his Independence Day speech, rolled out a roadmap of the NDA government for the betterment of farmers and the common man. Mr. Modi said, by the 75th year of independence, farmers' income should double, every poor person should get a pucca house, and every family should get an electricity connection, and every village should have an optical fiber network and broadband connectivity. He said there is need to lay stress on a blue economy and that farmers should become exporters and every district should be an export hub. Talking about soil health harmed by the use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, the Prime Minister highlighted the need to reduce these. Mr. Modi said 1.5 lakh wellness centers will be created in villages in the coming days. He added that one medical college for every 3 Lok Sabha constituencies, housing for 2 crore poor people, drinking water supply in 15 crore rural households, and 1.25 lakh kilometer roads in rural areas are some of the targets to be achieved by the government. While asserting that ease of living is the necessity of independent India, the Prime Minister said there is need to build an ecosystem in which there should be less government interference in daily life. Jammu and Kashmir Governor Satya Malik has directed that normal functioning of the Civil Secretariat Srinagar and government offices should resume today. He directed that arrangements be made to facilitate the movement of government employees to work. After Friday prayers, based on the day's developments, relaxations could be considered subsequently. These directions are given by the Governor after reviewing Independence Day celebrations and the security scenario with the advisors and Chief Secretary at Raj Bhavan, Srinagar, last evening. The Governor was informed that Independence Day celebrations were conducted across Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh with fervour and enthusiasm. There were no untoward incidents anywhere. Strong security arrangements were in place which thwarted any attempts to disrupt the celebrations. The Governor thanked the people for their cooperation during the period of restrictions. He assured them that these would be reduced gradually. The Supreme Court said it will wait for some time before passing any direction on a plea seeking removal of restrictions on the media in Jammu and Kashmir in the wake of abrogation of special status of Jammu and Kashmir under Article 370. During the hearing, the centre told the Apex Court that the situation is improving in Jammu and Kashmir and that curbs are being lifted gradually. The Kashmir Times executive editor Anuradha Bhasin sought directions to restore all modes of communication, including mobile, internet and landline services. A bench comprising Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi and Justices S.A. Bobde and S.A. Nazir said, media reports suggest that landline and broadband connections are being restored gradually and so it will take up the petition with other connected matters. However, the Apex Court did not fix any particular date for hearing the petition. Earlier, the Apex Court expressed anguish over the defective petitions of Advocate M.L. Sharma challenging the government's move on Article 370. It said the petition has no meaning. The Apex Court asked lawyers to cure defects in their 6 petitions on Article 370 and adjourned the hearing. Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar has announced that a massive campaign will be launched to make India free of single-use plastics. He said a series of meetings will be held with all stakeholders, including state governments, in this regard. A concrete plan will be chalked out to make this a people's campaign. Mr. Javadekar announced this at Sao Paulo in Brazil yesterday while addressing a gathering during an Independence Day function. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his Independence Day speech yesterday, also urged people to shun single-use plastics.
प्लास्टिक का उपयोग हो रहा है, जिसके कारण अनेक समस्याएं पैदा हो रही है। उससे मुक्ति के लिए हमने ही अभियान छेड़ना होगा, लेकिन साथ-साथ हमने अल्टरनेट व्यवस्थाएं भी देनी पड़ेगी। मैं तो सभी दुकानदारों से आग्रह करूंगा, आप अपने दुकान पर हमेशा बोर्ड लगाते हैं, एक बोर्ड ये भी लगा दीजिए, कृपा करके हमसे प्लास्टिक की थैली की अपेक्षा न करें।
Acknowledging the importance of urban environmental management for improving quality of life in cities, environment ministers of BRICS countries today agreed to work together to resolve the multifaceted environmental issues faced by BRICS cities. These discussions and announcements were made during the 5th Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa BRICS Ministers of Environment meeting held in Sao Paulo, Brazil. This meeting was preceded by the meeting of the BRICS Joint Working Group on Environment. Speaking on the occasion, Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar highlighted the path-breaking work done by India in achieving its nationally determined contributions, NDCs. He said that India is walking the talk on NDCs and it has achieved reducing energy intensity by 25%. He added that 78 gigawatts of renewable energy has already been made possible. He said the forest cover of the country has also increased by nearly 15,000 square kilometers and tree cover outside the forests is increasing rapidly. Stressing the key role played by BRICS countries, Mr. Javadekar said that BRICS is a very good platform and all 5 countries are rising and have many experiences to share. He added that these experiences will definitely help all the economies to improve further in their climate action efforts and in protecting the environment while ensuring growth at the same time. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will embark on a 2-day visit to Bhutan from tomorrow. Speaking to AIR News, India's ambassador to Bhutan, Ruchira Kambod, said that Mr. Modi's visit will lead to strengthening of the India-Bhutan partnership. She said that 10 MOUs will be signed between the 2 countries and at least 5 projects are expected to be inaugurated, including the Mangdechu project during the Prime Minister's visit.
This year we are celebrating 50 years of hydropower cooperation between India and Bhutan, and in fact during the upcoming visit Prime Minister will release a stamp commemorating these 50 years of hydropower cooperation. India has built the Chukha, Tala and Kurichu hydropower projects prior to this, and during the course of this visit the Mangdechu hydropower project, 720 megawatts, will be inaugurated by the Prime Minister. These are 4 units that are now commercially operational that will generate 3 billion megawatts of electricity annually and will provide 12 billion neutrum annually.
The Indian ambassador said Bhutan wholeheartedly supports India's bid for permanent membership in the United Nations Security Council. In fact, Bhutan has said it is an anomaly that India is not in the Security Council today where it should be. The Deputy Secretary of the United States Department of State, John Sullivan, met External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar in New Delhi today. During the meeting, they discussed the deep convergences of the strategic relationship between the 2 countries. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has said that the new education system of the country should emphasize on rural life of the country involving agriculture and nature. He was addressing a gathering after reopening Shamli House at Shantiniketan this morning. The Vice President said that an integrated approach is needed to bridge the gap between rural India and urban Bharat for the upliftment of people and for inclusive growth. Mr. Naidu recalled Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore's role for spread of education involving nature. He also urged the people to protect and preserve monuments and the cultural heritage of the country's glorious history.
The government and the civil society organizations must together take up the task of preservation of our tangible and intangible cultural heritage. Both the central government, state government, civil society, they must all work to generate awareness among the larger public about the values of this building, and for the duty of preserving these architectural marvels also fall on each and every citizen of this country. General public must desist from defacing and misusing these precious buildings and must make every effort to prevent further degeneration of these jewels.
West Bengal Governor Jagdeep Dhankar and Vice Chancellor of the Vishwa Bharati University Bidyut Chakraborty were present. The Assam government has taken steps to develop over 300 tourist spots to attract more tourism in the state. Managing Director of the Assam Tourism Development Corporation, Bhaskar Phukan, told AIR that 150 crore rupees will be spent to develop these locations under Ahom Darshan.
The Managing Director of the corporation, Bhaskar Phukan, said toilet, waste management, drinking water and waiting sheds to be built or developed across Assam in important locations. He said the prime aim of this initiative is to provide better infrastructure to the tourists visiting Assam. Every year, thousands of domestic and foreign tourists from Assam to visit Kamakhya Temple, Kaziranga National Park, Majuli, among others. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his Independence Day speech, has also given emphasis in making the tourism sector of Northeast more popular.
आज मैं आपसे एक छोटी सी मांग कर रहा हूं। क्या आप तय कर सकते हैं कि 2022 आजादी के 75 साल के पहले अपने परिवार के साथ भारत के कम से कम 15 टूरिस्ट डेस्टिनेशन पे जाएंगे। वहां कठिनाइयां होगी तो भी जाएंगे, वहां अच्छी होटल नहीं होगी तो भी जाएंगे। हम बच्चों को आदत डालें और एक बार जाना शुरू करेंगे तो वहां व्यवस्थाएं विकसित करने वाले भी लोग आने लग जाएंगे।
Mr. Phukan further said that space has been given to generate employment opportunities in the tourism sector in Assam. Manas Pratim Sharma, AIR News, Guwahati.
Home Minister Amit Shah today said that removing the provisions of Article 370 is a milestone. Addressing a public rally in Jind in Haryana, he said that Kashmir is an integral part of India. He said that we have done this under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He added that revocation of special status of Jammu and Kashmir will boost the development work there. President Ramnath Kovind today visited former Finance Minister Arun Jaitley at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, AIIMS, along with Union Health Minister Harshvardhan and Minister State for Health Ashwini Chaubey. Mr. Jaitley has been undergoing treatment in the intensive care unit at the AIIMS since August the 9th after he was admitted with complaints of uneasiness, weakness and breathlessness. The All India Institute of Medical Sciences, AIIMS, has not issued any bulletin on Jaitley's health condition since he was admitted. Today is the first death anniversary of former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. The BJP stalwart passed away on this day last year. Atal Bihari Vajpayee served as Prime Minister thrice, including a full term from 1999 to 2004. He was awarded India's highest civilian honour, the Bharat Ratna, in 2015. Our correspondent reports that many functions have been planned across the country in memory of the great leader. President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi also paid homage to the late former Prime Minister in a prayer meeting held in New Delhi. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today said, till today, India's nuclear policy is no first use. Speaking to reporters in Pokhran, Mr. Singh said, India has strictly adhered to this doctrine. However, what happens in future depends on the circumstances. He said he came to pay his tributes to Atalji on the land of Pokhran. Jaisalmer is home to Pokhran, where India conducted its nuclear tests under Atalji's leadership. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi rolls out roadmap for welfare of farmers and citizens. His focus is on doubling farmers' income and a pucca house for every poor person by the 75th year of independence. Jammu and Kashmir Governor Satya Malik directs resumption of normal functioning of Civil Secretariat and other government offices in Srinagar. Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar announces launch of campaign to make India free of single-use plastic. Hydropower generation and infrastructure of Bhutan high on the agenda during Prime Minister's visit to Thimpu. Vice President Venkaiah Naidu stresses an integrated approach to bridge gap between rural India and urban Bharat, The education system should emphasize on rural life and agriculture.